Don't chase. Start organizing yourself, and everything else will come to you. Understand this, and everything will change. It's a harsh, practical, and urgent truth, a key capable of radically transforming the way you live. Today, you'll learn 7 powerful Stoic lessons that will show you why acting like a desperate person only pushes you farther away from what truly matters. And even more, you'll discover that organizing your mind, your routine, and your vision of life is what makes everything flow, without haste, without anxiety, without self-deception. Because the truth is, if you're tired, feel like you're always behind, and no matter how much you do, nothing ever feels under control, then stop now. What's missing isn't effort, it's direction. As Marcus Aurelius said, you become what you allow to dwell in your mind. The mind is the brush, life is the canvas. Change your mind, and everything changes with it. Before we begin, I only ask you 2 things. Like this video and subscribe to the channel. Now let's begin. Lesson 1. Change yourself, and everything else changes with you. Everything begins in the mind. You may have talent, time, connections, even money, but if your mind is confused, none of it will work. It's your mentality that opens or closes doors. Changing your mentality isn't just repeating positive affirmations. It's learning to think clearly, logically, and with purpose. It's stopping the feeding of automatic thoughts that drain your energy and hurl you into the abyss of frustration. Many people exhaust themselves chasing dreams, working non-stop, yet inside they feel lost, constantly comparing themselves, burdened by guilt and anxiety. And do you know why? Because whoever doesn't organize their mind ends up being dominated by it. A disordered mind turns any routine into chaos, any plan into confusion. Even achievements become burdens. Epictetus summarized it perfectly. The mind turns a scratch into a wound, or a wound into armor. Life isn't against you. What's in conflict is the way you think. If you see everything as urgent, you'll live in a state of alarm. If you believe you're always behind, you'll never feel peace. If you think you'll only be happy after achieving something, you'll spend your entire life postponing your own happiness. No matter how hard you try, if your mind is programmed for scarcity, everything will feel insufficient. If it's programmed for fear, everything will feel like a threat. If it's programmed for comparison, everything will feel like defeat. It's not the circumstances that need to change, it's the lens through which you view them. So before you seek results, organize what's inside you. Because if your mind remains a battlefield, you'll sabotage yourself even in victory. You'll doubt yourself, you'll miss opportunities, you'll call normal life what is really just survival. Marcus Aurelius wrote something every person should read upon waking. You can have everything, but if your mind is chaos, your life will be chaos too. Because the mind is the seed, life is the fruit. Your external reality will always reflect the quality of what you cultivate internally. This isn't empty theory, it's the real engineering of life. So it's useless to chase peace if you yourself cultivate chaos. It's useless to say I can't if what you lack is clarity, not ability. Breathe. Look at your life with honesty. Are you making decisions based on fear? Are you merely reacting to the world? Or are you building a path with intention? Changing your mentality isn't magic, it's daily practice. It's questioning the thoughts that destroy you, that weaken you. It's focusing on what's under your control. It's having the courage to release what doesn't depend on you. When you organize your thoughts, you begin to see what was always there, but the chaos kept you from seeing. And here's a crucial point. Opportunities don't appear out of nowhere. They already exist in the world, circulating near you. But while your mind is filled with noise, you simply don't see them. It's not bad luck. It's lack of clarity. Someone who lives confused doesn't act at the right moment. They doubt, get lost in comparisons, drown in distractions. But when the mind becomes clean and serene, it's as if a veil falls from your eyes. What once seemed unattainable is now within reach. What seemed distant suddenly reveals itself. You don't need to run faster. You need to see better. Opportunities have always been there. Only a mind that is organized, present, and calm can recognize them and act. That's what separates those who drift through life from those who build their destiny. If this message resonated with you, write here in the comments, "Today I organize my mind," because that is the first step to stop surviving and start living wisely. Lesson 2. Stop chasing. You're always running to reach an ideal, running to not fall behind, running to prove something. But have you ever stopped to ask yourself, who said it has to be this way, in this desperate rush? The truth is, most people chase things they don't even know if they truly want. They live as if there's an invisible stopwatch ticking every step, believing that if they don't do everything now, they'll lose their life. But running without direction isn't progress. It's just a sophisticated way of getting lost. It's like running up an escalator going the wrong way. It looks like movement, but there's no real advancement. Someone who lives chasing drags themselves inward. And worse, when the right things arrive, they don't even notice, because they're too busy forcing what isn't ready yet. Seneca warned us long ago, "It's not that we have little time, it's that we waste too much on what doesn't matter. We run after status, validation, comparisons. Life becomes a circular race whose prize is exhaustion. And the cruelest part? When you finally reach what you chased so hard, you discover it doesn't fill you, because the emptiness was always internal. Chasing was merely a distraction to avoid facing it. Stoicism doesn't condemn ambition. It teaches you to adjust your direction. Instead of chasing, the Stoics observed, understood, and acted with sobriety. Marcus Aurelius, emperor of the greatest empire in the world, could have lived in impulse and urgency. Yet he wrote, "Haste is the enemy of the mind. Whoever runs too fast stops seeing, and whoever doesn't see acts in darkness, guided by fear and haste, not reason." Think about how many bad decisions you've made on impulse, how many forced doors became prisons, how many times you exhausted yourself with something that time would have resolved naturally, if only you'd trusted. Chasing is a symptom of distrust, of life and of yourself. It's acting as if you're always in arrears, as if what's yours doesn't have the strength to find you. But what if I told you, what is truly yours doesn't need to be chased? It comes to you at the right moment. Not everything you desire now is ready to welcome you. Not everything you lost was truly yours. The problem is, you try to harvest fruit without first preparing the soil. The farmer doesn't dig the earth every day to check if the seed has become a tree. He plants, he waters, he tends, and he waits. With patience, with trust, with wisdom. Your life works the same way. You plant your actions, you cultivate your character, you act with virtue, and then you trust. Because the harvest doesn't come to those who run, but to those who organize. From today on, every time you feel the urge to chase, pause and ask yourself, am I moving with wisdom, or am I fleeing from silence? Am I seeking with intention, or trying to fill a void? The answer will show you, are you evolving, or simply fleeing from yourself? Here's the key. Stopping the chase isn't surrender. It's taking command. It's replacing desperation with presence, anxiety with clarity, haste with trust. When you stop begging for attention, opportunities, and validation, you begin to attract them naturally, because your energy ceases to be lack and becomes conviction. Life doesn't reward those who run without direction. It rewards those who know how to wait, act, and trust at the right moment. The fruits that truly matter aren't conquered in the marathon of haste, but in the silence of patience. And when you finally understand this, you realize you don't need to run to prove anything. You simply need to walk with firmness, because what is yours is already on its way to find you. Lesson 3. Organize your life. Focus on yourself. Do you know what almost no one tells you? That the confusion you feel today isn't because life has become impossible, but because you let your routine turn into chaos. It's hard to hear, I know. But often, the greatest chaos isn't in the world, it's inside you. You want peace, you want balance, you want clarity. Yet you don't dedicate even 5 minutes to caring for yourself. You wake up running, grab your phone, go on autopilot, and you only slow down when your body starts to charge you. But think with me, how can you expect a peaceful life if you yourself feed the chaos? Organizing your life isn't about filling your wall with sticky notes or having a colorful spreadsheet. It's about understanding what's essential, stopping the habit of merely reacting, and beginning to act with direction, and focusing on yourself, understanding that this isn't selfishness, it's survival. The world demands you be everywhere at once. But Stoicism reminds you, the most important place to be is within yourself, because only those who know themselves know where to invest energy, when to stop, when to advance, and when to simply say, "This isn't mine to carry." Have you ever thought about how much time you waste trying to please others? How much space in your mind is occupied by problems that aren't even yours? You weren't born to live like this, dissolved in others' agendas, swallowed by expectations. Focusing on yourself is reconnecting. It's asking yourself honestly, how am I treating myself? What have I allowed into my life? What is pulling me off center? The Stoics understood that true freedom begins with order. Musonius Rufus said, "Discipline is the bridge between intention and action." Dreams, goals, beautiful phrases mean nothing if your daily life is in pieces. I'm not talking about perfectionism, I'm talking about personal responsibility. Do you want peace? Distance yourself from voices that only agitate you. Do you want focus? Limit what consumes your attention. Do you want clarity? Reduce the overload of stimuli. Focusing on yourself means creating a routine that strengthens, not drains. It means waking up and doing something for yourself before giving yourself to the world. It means remembering your energy is limited, and it shouldn't be wasted trying to solve what isn't yours or trying to prove what you don't need to prove. And here's an uncomfortable truth. It's not that you don't have time, it's that you don't have structure. You feel lost because you still haven't put order inside and outside yourself. Without structure, even pleasure becomes a burden. Without focus, even victories taste like payment. So stop, observe, choose calmly, say more, no, protect your hours, filter your conversations. This isn't coldness, it's maturity. Because whoever doesn't organize drowns in promises and gets lost in 1,000 directions. Life asks you to care for yourself as a priority, not as an afterthought. Don't wait for someone to save you. That won't happen. Responsibility is yours. Create the emotional, mental, and practical space where your peace will flourish. Lesson 4. Stop living to prove something. Much of the weight you carry doesn't come from life. It comes from trying to show the world that you're enough, proving you're capable, proving you deserve it, proving you haven't fallen behind. But living like this is like running on a treadmill. You expend energy. It looks like you're moving forward, but in reality, you're still in the same place. The Stoics knew that nothing binds you more than the need for applause. Epictetus wrote, "If you want to be good, start by believing it's enough to please yourself." This is hard, but true. When your compass points outward, you lose yourself inward. Think. How many times did you say yes when you wanted to say no? How many times did you enter battles that weren't yours? How many nights did you lose sleep just to maintain the image others expected of you? And in the end, the reward was only exhaustion and anxiety. Because whoever needs to be convinced will never be satisfied, and whoever truly matters would never demand you betray yourself to please them. You don't need to prove anything to anyone, not to family, not to friends, not to strangers. The value you have doesn't depend on applause, but on the courage to be faithful to who you are when no one is watching. And here's the twist. When you stop living to prove yourself, you discover something no one told you, the silence of freedom. Your decisions stop being desperate races and become firm steps. You act not to impress, but because it makes sense. You no longer need to compete for attention, because you already have respect for yourself. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, life is too short to waste on vanity. And if even an emperor understood that, what's stopping you? In the end, the question won't be, how many admired you? But, could you look in the mirror without shame? If this message spoke to you, write in the comments, I choose to be faithful to myself, not to live to prove anything. That's the decision that separates those who survive on others' stages from those who truly begin to live their own lives. Lesson 5. Your mind is the key. There comes a moment when you must stop getting lost in the noise of the world and have the courage to look inward at your thoughts, feelings, and choices. After all, it's not the world that holds you back, it's the way you react to it, and it all begins in the mind. The mind is the key. It can open doors to peace or to chaos, to freedom or to prison. You can have a stable life, comfort, health, even tranquility all around you, and still feel suffocated. Why? Because your mind has become a battlefield. Endless worries, comparisons, unresolved memories, catastrophic scenarios you invent before even living them. How many times has your day barely begun, and you're already exhausted? That's the result of a mind without direction, like a horse running wild with no path. Here's where Stoicism enters. Epictetus said, "You don't suffer because of events, but because of the dirty lens through which you choose to view them." That changes everything. It shows that pain doesn't come from the event itself, but from your interpretation. Change the lens, and you change the experience. The problem? Most people care for their body, their house, their car, even their social media, but not for their mind, which is the center of everything. And when the mind is neglected, life becomes disorder. Impulsive decisions, exaggerated reactions, repeated self-sabotage. You don't need to be a monk to care for your mind, but you do need attention. Observe what's happening inside it, every day. Ask yourself, how many thoughts truly help me, and how many are just recycled emotional trash? Stoicism teaches you to choose, to filter, and above all, to replace. Example, a thought arises. You're behind in life. The Stoic doesn't swallow it. He questions, behind according to whom? What's the standard? What can I do right now? That inner dialogue returns the power you once surrendered to chance. Your mind doesn't need more stimulation. It needs cleansing. It doesn't need more noise. It needs silence. It needs direction, not distractions. This isn't being cold or insensitive. It's building an inner fortress, a space where nothing external can easily break you. Have you noticed how some people walk through crises, keeping calm, presence, and dignity? That's not a gift. It's training. It's the result of someone who understood, when the mind is firm, the world cannot break you. Organize your mind like you organize your home. Throw out what doesn't serve you. Keep visible what matters. Create space to breathe. Remember, everything begins inside, because you'll never control external circumstances, but you can always learn to control how you respond to them. Lesson 6. The clarity of Marcus Aurelius. Today, everything pushes you toward haste, comparison, and endless distraction. Being clear, centered, and calm has become a true act of rebellion. And no one understood this better than Marcus Aurelius, an emperor who, even surrounded by chaos, ruled with the mind of a philosopher. Now think with me. Can you imagine the weight of commanding the most powerful empire on earth, facing betrayals, diseases, wars, and death from every side? And yet, he rose every morning and wrote in his journal. He began by reminding himself, "Today you will encounter ungrateful, arrogant, selfish people. You will encounter vanity and lies. Don't be surprised. Be ready. Do you see the strength in that? Do you understand how much suffering could be avoided if people simply remembered this from the start? Whoever expects the world to be fair and polite ends up frustrated, angry, reacting without thinking. But whoever wakes up knowing they'll meet ingratitude and arrogance isn't surprised. And when something doesn't surprise you, it loses its power to knock you down. Yes, Marcus Aurelius was extraordinary. But it's not impossible to follow the same path. He proved that true strength wasn't in the sword or the throne, but in clarity. Clarity of who he was, clarity of what truly mattered. Look closely. Most people today don't suffer from lack of ability, but from excess mental noise. They wake up with dozens of conflicting thoughts, notifications, anticipated worries, and try to live, decide, breathe in the middle of that chaos. But how can you have peace if you can't hear your own conscience? Marcus Aurelius wrote every day precisely to clean that excess and rediscover his center. He asked himself, am I acting with justice, courage, and wisdom? What is truly under my control right now? Why am I so agitated? Is this real, or just a story my mind invented? These simple questions returned what haste steals: presence. And presence is the door to clarity. Now look at your life. How many decisions did you make in a rush and later regret? How many times did you say yes when you wanted to say no? How many times did you enter conflicts or commitments that only drained you because you lacked clarity? Lack of clarity puts you on autopilot. And living on autopilot is becoming a spectator of your own story. You wake up, work, survive, but you don't truly live. Clarity isn't knowing everything. It's knowing where you are, what you feel, and what you need to do now. That alone resolves half your anguish. And the best part? Clarity can be trained by writing, by reflecting, by cleaning your mind. You don't need to be an emperor to have lucidity. You only need to stop running from yourself. And do you know why so many flee silence? Because in silence, truth appears. But if you have the courage to face that truth, you'll realize what Marcus Aurelius discovered. Nothing has more power over your life than your own thoughts. When you organize your mind, you choose your battles better. You don't waste energy on useless arguments. You don't get lost in every external noise. You become someone who inspires simply by your presence. Because in a fast-paced world, whoever has clarity shines like a lighthouse. So if you want less disorder and more meaning, start today. Ask yourself, what is essential for me right now? If you answer honestly, you've already taken the first step toward inner freedom. And if this message touched you, write in the comments, "Clarity is my new strength," because that's what it is. It doesn't shout, it only guides. Lesson 7. Focus, discipline, and courage. It's time to speak of the 3 keys that hold together everything you've learned so far. 3 Stoic pillars, 3 practical attitudes, 3 decisions that, if you have the courage to embrace them, will transform your life completely. Focus, discipline, courage, and know. This isn't a pretty social media phrase. These are weapons of war, fundamental for the mind. They're what remains when motivation fades, when everything seems to collapse, when the world tries to drag you back into chaos. Let's begin with focus. Focusing isn't just paying attention. Focus is deciding what deserves your energy, and above all, what doesn't. Modern life is a constant kidnapping. Notifications, urgencies, comparisons, noise. If you don't learn to protect your focus like a warrior protects his sword, you'll live lost. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Don't distract yourself. The mind that gives itself to everything deepens in nothing." And that's it. Most people today don't suffer from too many tasks. They suffer from lack of focus. They want to cover everything, please everyone, be perfect in every area. Result? exhaustion. And the cruelest part? The emptiness of having done nothing with depth. If you want peace and progress, you must learn to say no. No to distractions. No to comparisons. No to what doesn't align with your purpose. Focus is like the lens of a camera. If you open it too wide, the image becomes blurry, confused, nothing stands out. But when you close it and centralize, everything becomes sharp. Life is the same. Whoever tries to do everything loses clarity. Whoever concentrates energy on what matters turns the small into the great. Think, do you prefer to spend your strength on 1,000 superficial things, or on one thing that can truly carry you forward? Now, discipline. Without it, you'll spend your life starting and stopping, dreaming and frustrating yourself. The world rewards sustained effort, not fleeting enthusiasm. Musonius Rufus, Epictetus' teacher, said, "Discipline is what transforms an ordinary person into someone capable of enduring pain and choosing what's right, even when it hurts." Because discipline isn't imprisonment, it's freedom. You wake up early not to suffer, but to take control of the day. You keep your promises to yourself, not out of vanity, but out of honor to yourself. You create routine, not to become a robot, but to stop depending on chance. The secret is simple. You don't need motivation. You need commitment. Your body may be tired, your mind may want to quit, but if your character is firm, you keep going. Finally, courage. Courage isn't about never being afraid. It's about acting, even when you are. It's the courage to be alone in your convictions, to stand by your values, to walk your path, even when no one claps. It's the courage to say, "I'm not here to please, I'm here to become." These three, focus, discipline, courage, are not ideals. They're daily practices. They're what keep you standing when everything else falls. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. Start small. Protect 1 hour of your day. Keep one promise to yourself. Speak one truth, even if it's uncomfortable. That's how you build a life that doesn't collapse. That's how you become someone who doesn't chase, but attracts. Someone who doesn't beg, but embodies. Someone who doesn't perform, but simply is. And when you live like that, everything else comes to you.